Hi everyone, I am Juste Pmu brow specialist based in Chelmsford, Essex, and welcome back to my channel where today I want to share with you my favorite needles that I use at work as semi-permanent makeup artist. So hope some of you will find this useful, and let's get on and I'll show you what are my favorites. So I use a few different brands, so this is by no means an advert for specific brands that I use. You can use any other brand, whatever you prefer. It's more about the configurations maybe and what I like, what works best for me. But as many artists, there are as many choices. So if we are looking at lip blushing, depending on what result I want to achieve, I go for Quadron Optimus and I use 0.25 1 RLs or 0.35 1 RLs. These seem to be working the best for me for shading. If I want a bit more soft result, I'll go for 35. And then depending on the mood, depending what result I want to achieve, if I want like a super soft blending as well with a needle, if lips are, let's say, a bit larger, and you don't want to work just with 1 RL, I do like to do some blending either with 0.30 shaders, or I like to use a Magnum. The one that I have here from Juste is 0.35 diameter, 5mm taper. So they do have, I don't know if you can see, 5 needles inside, and it's nice to shade them. If I do use 0.3 round liners, I do separate them slightly for blending in circular motion. This is what I really like on lips. Or if I don't want to separate needles but want to use it on lips or brows as well, I use 0.18 diameter round liners, so I can use it the same way as I would use one round liner, but because diameter is quite small of these needles, 0.18, I can still use it as 1 RL. So I would use it either for brows or for lips. It depends, you know, what result you're going for. Then another needle I have as well, 0.35 round liners from my store. I find them very, very soft needles. So if you do like soft needles for lips or for brows, this is the way to go. I like Juste for working on lips. All of these needles from my store I use for lips only. I don't particularly like using them myself on eyebrows, but as many different artists, you know, you would find different recommendations. Is absolutely fine. It depends what you like, what works for you. So these are my go-to for lips. Absolutely beautiful work. I as well use Quadron for lips and sometimes for brows. So really like 0.25 for brows. It's my favorite configuration for brows and for lips. So these work best for me for both treatment areas, and I use 0.25 as well for liner from Quadron or both Juste. They both are really good, but my favorite needle of all for eyebrows. And I know maybe not everybody likes this needle. It depends. I do like Tina Davies pixel needles. They are 0.25 1 RLLT, so round liner, long taper, and I absolutely find these the best needles for my shading. Again, this is not an advert. I get this asked so much from other artists what I use, so I just want to share what I use. So these are my go-to, these are my favorite for soft result, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that, you know, I absolutely love soft results. So these are, for me personally, the best result for soft shaded brows. I don't do any hair strokes. I do powder brows, ombre brows, basically micro shading, and absolute favorite of mine. Of course, if some skins are very, very hard, because it depends as well on the skin, we do need to change the needle depending on the skin. I do then change and I use Quadron because they're a little bit harder. I find these are softer and these are harder for me in terms of how the needle feels, and that is easier to work for me on much thicker skin. So really, you know, need to see how the skin takes in. Don't be afraid to change the needle throughout your treatment. If you find the needle choice that you have for the treatment doesn't work for you, do change it. It doesn't have to be these brands that I'm showing you. I'm just showing you what I am, you know, using myself. There are many different brands. I think I have some different brands as well. I don't use it so often. It just depends. It's the preference. And I think finding the best needle for permanent makeup for different type of treatment, so brows, lips, eyeliner, or different skins, you know, oilier, drier, more mature, young, hydrated, and all. It all depends. And you shouldn't be afraid to change your needle in the middle of the treatment. So as well, if you know, you're working with the lips and lips are, let's say, larger, do a couple passes with either round liners or, you know, round liner, three round liners, and then blend in, let's say, with Magnum, so that you can as well cut the treatment time shorter, but also fill in nicely and don't have so many gaps, depending on the style, right? It all depends on the style that you're providing as permanent makeup artist. But hopefully this is helpful. I just showed you what I use and I like to use in my studio, and these are my go-to. I think I'm using these brands for more than 3 years now. I used different Tina Davis needles before these came out. These ones I'm using now definitely maybe year and a half or year. I'm not sure when they came out, but I am using them for a very long time now. Yes, I'm also unafraid to try something different. So sometimes I buy different brands. It's just all about finding what works for you. If you do have any questions, do drop me a message. It doesn't mean you have to keep on buying these brands or these exact configurations. Maybe you've been taught different way, maybe your technique is slightly different than mine, because we all have our own adaptations of techniques as well. Don't forget that. And we have different machines we work with, different hand movement. Some people have heavy hands, some people have lighter hand. I'm lighter handed, so for me it may feel different than to somebody who is heavy handed. I have a medium hand movement when I work, and some people have fast and people have slow. So you need to be adjusting your needle, your speed, your machine, and everything to have the perfect result. I will talk more into detail about you know, what techniques I use or what speed I use for which treatments in some other videos, because I feel like it could be very useful sorry, to some of you, just to learn a little bit more about and maybe experiment and find the right treatment for you. And I know I'll get so many questions now, what machine do I use? So I have a few machines. At the moment I'm using Mass B10. I really like how soft it is. It is a little bit too heavy for my hand. I feel like all day working, it does get tiring on my hand, because as well, remember, you need to hold it so there is a gap here. Never lay the machine and work like this. So it is a little bit on the heavier side for me. I bought it not long time ago. I do like it though, but my all-time favorite, especially for liners, for everything really, is the Mass Tour original one. It comes with battery. I'm not sure where I put it because I use the cable still. This is ideal weight. This one is, I would say, maybe not half heavier but much heavier, so holding in the position is much harder for longer periods of times. Sometimes towards the end of the day I switch and work with this, or just work all day with this. It's just a little bit lighter, and I think maybe ergonomically fits in the hand, so you can do the right movement, hold the machine the right way, have that gap here, don't lay your machine there. And then obviously I find these needles work best for me. If you do have any questions, please do get in touch, and I hope you have a wonderful day.